Hey there, Foxine here, coming to you after, the holidays and everything. I took a little bit of a break in there between videos. To get better content, I think I'll probably go more to like a bi-weekly thing versus like an every week thing. I definitely want to keep you guys interested, want to touch on, more interesting topics with, the whole tattooing and art thing, kind of branch off from there. I'll probably branch a little bit into my furry side for my animal viewers and furry folk out there. But yeah, this episode I figure, keep it kind of fairly short-ish. Kind of want to talk about aftercare, and I've got some fun horror stories for you, and yeah, just kind of keep it light this round until I can find some more interesting content for you. Also, like if anybody has any questions or has any like stories of their own, I'd love to hear it. Like leave that stuff in the comments for me. I can definitely work off of some of that too. So kicking off the aftercare episode, I want to start by saying once you've gotten your new tattoo, it is considered an open wound and you should treat it as such. And what this means is you gotta take care of it. What does open wound mean to you? I don't know, because I've had some really weird situations with people, letting like their dogs lick off the aquaphor, or going tanning right afterwards, or going swimming, and then they come back to me like, oh, my tattoo, what did you do to it? What did I do to it? What did you do to it? I'm the kind of artist that will stand by their work. With pieces, I have no problem giving, a free touch-up if the piece actually needs it. But I'm going to let you know, I can tell when it's your fault versus my fault. Like, I had a client, and I'm sure they're watching this because they're still a client, who let their dog lick off aquaphor off of their tattoo, and I don't know if they didn't wash it or what have you, but yeah, it got infected. I know there's those people out there who are like, oh, a dog's mouth is cleaner than a human's. Well, I mean, whether you let a dog lick your tattoo or a human lick your tattoo and you not clean it, it's still gonna get infected. It had a hard heal, and once it finally did heal, there were chunks of the ink missing. It had pretty much pulled out the ink from the tattoo. And yeah, we had to touch it up. After we touched it up and everything, it was fine. It healed just fine after they actually took care of it. But that's something, it's like you gotta keep in mind. It's open. It's, it's healing. I'm essentially, driving ink into the second layer of your skin. You bleed, you have plasma leakage, it's a wound. You need to treat it as such. Make sure, like, you have, as a part of the healing, the traditional way to heal your tattoo was once you had the tattoo, your artist would, put a layer of the A&D on there, you'd wrap it in cellophane, and you'd head home. When you have that method of healing, you're going to take the cellophane off. Don't keep it on more than 2 hours, but you're going to wash your tattoo gently, warm water, antibacterial soap, and then you're going to put like a thin layer of your A&D on, or your aquaphor, or whatever healing ointment you use. I don't recommend Neosporin because those antibiotic ones kind of pull the ink out a little bit because essentially it's drawing out infection. But do a light layer. Think of it as like chapstick. You're just going to put just a light layer on. You're not going to really glob it on because that'll kind of not let your tattoo breathe. But you're going to make sure that, wherever your tattoo is, you make sure it's clean. I mean, when I would do my tattoos or when I would get my tattoos and heal them the traditional way, I would wash them maybe once or twice a day, or any time any kind of contaminant got on there, and then put my light layer of, I keep bringing my hand up because I talk with my hands, my light layer of my aquaphor. That one's the one that I typically use. But yeah, you don't need to really pack it on there or anything. It's just light, and then just be conscious of it. Like if you set your arm on a desk and you have like something right here, and oh, there's the aquaphor on there, and or you know you have there's crumbs and dirt, or you know the fuzzies in your shirts or anything. It's just you have to be conscious about it. And being conscious about it, you're gonna do that for the next 3 or 4 days. You're gonna really kind of watch and make sure you kind of baby your tattoo. Make sure it's kept nice. After that, the majority of the healing is done within the first 3 to 5 days. So after that period, there's enough grow back of skin and healing done that you can actually switch to your unscented lotion. Some people like to continue on with their ointments, like the Vaseline, A&D, and stuff. I mean, if that works for you, that's great. But after typically the 5-day period, you can just go straight to unscented lotion, and you're not out of the woods yet. You're gonna put on the lotion and make sure your tattoo doesn't dry out for like the next 2 to 3 weeks. That you got to make sure that your skin stays hydrated. That hydration really helps keep your tattoo looking nice. So I'm the type of person who will just lotion every day anyway. But I mean, if you're the type of this is kind of like an up in the air thing, because there are the types of people who they don't wear lotion everything. They let their tattoos dry heal, and I guess it's my opinion that they don't look as good. To me, dry healed tattoos look a little less sharp than if you actually kind of hydrate and take care of them. I mean, again, that's my opinion, but it visually it just looks like they're less sharp. You lose your lines. It feels like your lines blur out a little faster. I mean, I would greatly like to be challenged on that. So if you're the type of person who dry heals and you're like, look at these amazing tattoos, and you don't wear lotion ever, I definitely would like to see that and hear your opinions on the whole thing. But this all goes back to there are multiple ways to heal your tattoo. There's really no wrong way, as long as your tattoo heals and doesn't lose out on color, doesn't scab up really bad and flake away. But I mean, also listen to your artist about it. There are so many different ways to heal, and everybody will always have their opinion on it. And today's episode is just really kind of what I've seen and my opinions on what works best. My favorite way of doing aftercare now is working with either Saniderm or Derm Shield. I really like it because to me it feels like it's idiot-proof tattoo healing. And especially when I get a new tattoo and I'm having to work the next day, I basically make sure I'm all wrapped up, and it really helps with keeping contaminants out. With Saniderm or Derm Shield or whichever version, like even Tagaderm, whichever second skin type bandage you like to use, the premise of it is they create an artificial blister. So what that means is it seals off the tattoo. The material itself is semi-porous, so it's able to breathe, but you still don't want to soak it. It's not like 100% waterproof. It will adhere to your skin, and it's meant to stay on there for an extended period of time. Saniderm was the first brand that I used, and I really have good results with it. Typically on day one, when you get a tattoo and you use Saniderm, your tattoo will look gross as heck the next day. I a lot of times will tell my clients, I cannot stress this enough on how gross your tattoo will look the next day. And this is because the excess ink, blood, and plasma kind of pools up within the Saniderm, and it creates that artificial blister. Now, I've found that this is a fantastic way to heal your tattoos because your tattoo stays hydrated because you have your natural fluids being, produced under the Sanoderm. And after a few days, your skin actually absorbs all that back into your body. It stays protected. You're not having to worry about washing your tattoo somewhere, if something happens. And it's just been really amazing for traveling. And the premise of it, you put it on. The way that I tell my clients to use it is I'll put on the first piece, and you keep it on up to 5 days, because it does that whole, healing within that 5 day, the majority of the healing within that 5 day period. And then you take it off under warm water and make sure you wash your tattoo really good after that. Don't rip it off like a Band-Aid. I cannot stress this enough. I've messed up my own tattoos by ripping it off like a Band-Aid, not underwater. This is one of those things where you do want to take a little bit of time and make sure it is healing under there. I guess I had a rough spot on one of my tattoos, ripped it right off, and it took half of my ink with it, and that was my dumb self's fault. Pretty much after that, if it's healed really well, you just do your unscented lotion. That seems like easy as pie. Some artists will give you a secondary piece. I did that for a while, where we'd put on the first piece for 24 hours, you take it off, wash it, and put a second piece on. That kind of helps with some people too. I've definitely found out the less irritation of the skin you have, the better the heal. Now, some of the caveat with the Sanoderm, Derm Shield, Tegaderm, since it is a foreign object on your skin, you still need to just kind of be aware of it. Sometimes the edges on the Sanoderm will cut into your skin just a little bit. I know that sounds kind of weird and daunting. It's really not as bad as it seems, but it's just something that you would need to be aware of. Watch your edges, and if you see some redness happening, especially if you have some here and you're twisting and turning and everything, it can kind of dig in a little bit. You can peel that up just to make sure it doesn't leave any, scratches or actually decides to cut the skin. One of my observations with using Sanoderm is it has kind of a little bit of an abrasive adhesive. So if you have more of a sensitive skin, that's where I would use I use Derm Shield. It's a little bit lighter, and the adhesive isn't as abrasive. So typically I'll substitute one for the other if it's on an inner arm or an outer arm. If you need it to be more hardy, I'll typically go with the Sanoderm and lighter one with the Derm Shield. I'm not trying to advertise for these companies or anything, but these are just the products that I use as an artist and just what I've observed on using them. But going back to that whole sensitivity thing, also if you use a second skin type bandage, just be aware if you have a reaction to the adhesive. I try to make sure my clients are really wiped down well. There have been talks around the tattoo community, if you leave green soap on, some people get little bumps and everything. I've never had anybody have a reaction on the tattoo itself, but it's mostly just been around it. And at that point, you can always go back to just doing the traditional way of healing. Just watch your tattoo, baby it, do your aquaphor, what have you. But 95% of the time, that's the method that I'll go for as far as products and how I work with my clients on healing their tattoos. I do want to bring up, please don't soak your tattoos. I know it's not a big issue right now since pools are closed and people aren't really traveling to the beaches a whole lot. But soaking your tattoo within the first 3 weeks, you could potentially pull ink out. You could potentially get a really bad infection with it. It kind of blurs out your tattoo. Just please don't. Please don't. I also want to talk about allergies to ink. I've had a few clients actually ask me, hey, what kinds of stuff is in the ink, and, or what brands of ink I use just in case. And I mean, I've got no problem telling you what I use. I know one of my brands, right off the top of my head, they advertise as vegan ink. So, I mean, oddly enough, I've had people ask me about that. Is my ink vegan? I'm not sure where else you would get pigment from, where you get pigment from animals, but I'm pretty sure all tattoo ink is vegan. I can't imagine it would be otherwise. When it comes to an allergy to ink, the most common color to have an allergic reaction to is red. And there's really not a way to determine if you have that allergy or not until you get the tattoo. I mean, you can always do like a color test, and you can do like a rainbow color test, which is, you know, some artists offer that, and kind of see how it heals. But allergies can come and go randomly, which is the weird thing about allergies. You could be like allergic to shellfish one day and the next day eat like a shrimp and you'd be fine, or vice versa, and you could eat a shrimp and die. But I've had a few clients who've known about their ink allergy. I had one client when I was first starting to do tattoos who absolutely knew she had an allergy to red ink, but really liked the look of certain red tattoos. And I 100% do not condone or recommend with the next thing I'm going to say, but here's the story. She would straight up down a bottle of Benadryl before getting tattooed. I remember we had to do like this big red mushroom on her, and apparently that worked, but I don't recommend that. I don't condone that. So don't do that. But with allergies to ink, you'll notice like once in the healing process, if you have an allergy, it will typically be that one color only. So I've had clients come back to me with like a multiple color tattoo, and like certain parts of their tattoo just are not healing. They're like really upset that it might be infected and everything. One comes to mind. I did a blue anchor on a client, and all of the I guess like the majority of it was blue, but it had like blacks and like greens in it and everything, but everything blue, like the blue was having a hard heal. It just looked kind of crusty and looked kind of gross and everything. It did turn out she had an allergy to blue, so she couldn't get any more blue, I guess. Sometimes people have like a really bad reaction where it rejects the color completely. Some people just get it raised and it's like itchy a little bit, and that's just kind of the risk with working with skin, because skin is weird. All in all, if you have any questions about the healing of your tattoo, I let people know, contact your artist first. Let them know what's going on, because it may just be something small, and if it is out of their scope of, you know, their knowledge, they will recommend, you know, what to do next. Whether if you do have an infection, to contact your doctor and get antibiotics, or, you know, oh hey, you know, let's wait this out, let's see if it'll heal, because sometimes people just have hard heals. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to heal your tattoo. Maybe you had a cold, maybe, you know, you had like a surgery, you know, not too long ago, where your body's, you know, trying to heal multiple things. Skin really just is a weird medium to work with, because every single person's is different. Like, I have some clients that reject purple. I have some clients that reject green. It's so random, and it's one of those things that every single client is just going to be a new experience. So all in all, just, you know, take care of your tattoos, take care of yourself, and everything should heal out fine. But of course, you know, when in doubt, contact your artist. So I hope you liked my rambling video on Aftercare this round. Hit like, hit subscribe, that'll help me out. And yeah, let me know like what you guys want to hear about. I got stories galore. I've got, you know, tips galore. You know, please, if I have found other tattoo artists out there watching my stuff, challenge me. You know, ask ask me questions or tell me I'm wrong or something. This whole thing will always be a constant learning process for me, no matter, if I'm now or like 10 years from now. There's always something new to learn. So, but until then, see y'all later.